On the glowing planet of Nebula 9, nestled between floating crystal mountains and shimmering energy lakes, lived Mama Goat and her 7 little space goats. Their home was a beautiful biodome farm, protected by a shield of plasma glass and powered by the sunbursts of twin stars. It was a peaceful place where technology and nature worked together in harmony. Birds made of light chirped in the skies, and the trees grew leaves that hummed softly in the breeze. Mama Goat, wise and warm, raised her children to be smart, curious, and brave. Each of the little space goats had their own personality. Zico, the youngest, loved gadgets and tinkering with the household robots. Luna liked to read holographic books. Bolt, always full of energy, was the fastest on their jet scooters. Then there was Nova, who loved the stars and the twins, Glimmer, and Spark, who played pranks but had big hearts. And finally, Orbit, the eldest, who helped Mama Goat with the dome systems. Together, they made the Galaxy Farm a lively and happy place. One bright morning, as the plasma sun rose, casting rainbow-colored rays through the dome, Mama Goat gathered her children around the holotable. The display showed a spinning 3D model of the planet. "I need to go to the space market," she said in her gentle voice. "We're low on energy crystals and plasma berries. You all must stay inside the dome while I'm gone. Do not open the airlock for anyone." The goats nodded in unison, but Zico asked, "What if someone says it's you, Mama?" Mama Goat smiled and tapped her digital bracelet. "Good question. I will use the voice password only you all know. And no one but me can open the door with retina scan and voice ID." She looked at them seriously. "Remember the Cyberwolf is out there? He can mimic voices and disguise himself. He's very clever. But if you use your brains and your hearts, you'll be safe." The goats promised her they would be careful. Unbeknownst to them, deep within the nearby shadow crater, the Cyberwolf was listening. His high-tech spy drone hovered silently near the dome, recording everything. The Wolf, a mechanical beast with glowing red eyes and armor made from stolen ship parts, was not just hungry for food, he wanted the crystal energy that powered the dome. If he could trick the goats into letting him in, he could drain the entire system and become more powerful than ever before. Back inside the dome, the goats went about their day after Mama Goat left. Orbit monitored the systems while Bolt zipped around on his hoverboard. Zico worked on fixing the broken cleaning bot, and the others played stargazer chess. But there was a sense of caution in the air. They kept the security monitors active and checked the entry log every 10 minutes. Then came the first knock. A voice called out, sounding exactly like Mama Goat. "My darlings, it's me. I forgot my access card. Please open the airlock." The goats froze. Orbit rushed to the monitor. "Voice pattern almost matches," he said, "but not quite. The pitch is off by 2%. That's not Mama." Zico activated the dome scanner. "No retina match," he added. "It's him." The Cyberwolf, Glimmer, and Spark stared at each other, nervous. "What do? We follow Mama's rules," said Nova calmly. "We stay inside. We don't trust what we see or hear. We only trust what we know." Outside, the Cyberwolf growled in frustration. His plan had failed, but he wasn't done yet. In his cave, he began building a more advanced disguise and plotting a new plan. Inside the dome, the goats huddled together, keeping close and alert, unaware that the real challenge was yet to come. The next morning on Nebula 9 was calm, but a quiet sense of tension lingered in the biodome. The 7 little space goats had barely slept, taking turns watching the surveillance panels and checking the holographic perimeter scanner. Orbit, being the eldest, assured them that Mama would return soon. Zico, however, remained uneasy. His small fingers tapped rapidly on the security console as he tightened the firewall and activated an extra layer of password encryption. "Mama always says," Zico muttered while adjusting the settings, "1 password is good, 2 are better. But 3 are the best when danger is near." He coded a new passcode into the door's AI panel, a series of blinking colored lights only they could understand, based on their favorite game pattern. Each goat memorized the combination: blue, red, red, green, yellow. Outside the dome, everything seemed still, but the Cyberwolf was far from giving up. sitting inside his ship-shaped cave deep in Shadow Crater. He reviewed the audio recordings he had captured with his stealth drone. "Almost perfect," he growled, adjusting the frequency of his voice changer collar. "Just a little more tuning ... and they'll never know it's not her." Back at the dome, Bolt zipped through the hallways on his hoverboard and came skidding to a stop near the kitchen. "We're out of sky juice," he shouted. "What if Mama doesn't come back today? What will we drink?" Nova, calm as always, replied, "We can generate filtered water from the hydro cells. We'll manage. Panic helps no one." Glimmer and Spark peeked outside through the mirrored observation glass. "What if he's still out there, the Cyber Volf?" "He probably is," Luna said thoughtfully, flipping through her holographic field guide on alien predators. "But the more we learn, the harder it will be for him to trick us." Just then, the airlock panel lit up. A soft knock echoed through the dome, followed by a perfectly matched voice, gentle, soothing, and familiar. "Children, it's me," the voice said. "I forgot my shopping list and need to get it from the table. Open the door, please." The goats froze. Orbit rushed to the command console and activated the retina scan camera. "No match. He's trying again," Orbit said grimly. "But the voice sounds perfect." Spark whispered. "That's why we have the color code," Zico reminded them. "Let's test him." He pressed the voice intercom button. "Mama, before we open, tell us the color code we play after dinner." There was a pause. Then the voice said, "Blue, yellow, green." "Green, red dot, double quotes wrong dot." The goats looked at each other and shook their heads. Orbit switched on the audio jammer, cutting off the intercom. "That's not her." Outside, the Cybervolf bared his metal teeth in frustration. He had gotten so close. His voice was now nearly identical, but the goats were too clever. They had changed their password. Inside the dome, the goats gathered at the holotable. "He's getting better," said Luna. "Next time, he might get the voice and the password right." "We need another layer," Zico said, thinking quickly. "A motion detector, something that only recognizes Mama's walk." "Or her heartbeat," Nova suggested. "That's harder to fake." They worked together, combining their ideas. Orbit reprogrammed the dome's AI to scan heartbeat frequencies. Zico installed a new voice recognition filter, and Luna added a movement signature scanner. As night fell over Nebula 9, the stars twinkled gently outside the dome. Inside, the goats felt a little safer, knowing they had outsmarted the Cybervolf again. But they also knew he wasn't done, and far away, deep in the shadows, the Cybervolf sat back in his lair and smiled. "Clever little goats," he said softly. "But let's see how well you do when I change the game." The stars above Nebula 9 sparkled in quiet stillness, but inside the shadows of the mountains, the Cybervolf's lair pulsed with activity. The lair's core hummed with eerie red light, and dozens of robotic arms whirred around him as he prepared his next move. The failed voice mimicry had been a setback, but he now had something far more devious in mind, a full-body droid suit. Equipped with biometric masks, sense simulators, and even a fake heartbeat generator. "I tried knocking," the Cybervolf snarled to himself. "Now I'll walk right in." Meanwhile, inside the biodome, the goats were growing more cautious but not fearful. They had upgraded the security system 3 times. Zico had added a heartbeat scanner. Orbit installed a movement signature reader 1 that tracked the specific way Mama Goat walked, with a slight bounce in her left step. Luna had programmed the AI assistant, Blinky, to ask random personal questions that only the real Mama would know. They were ready for anything. Or so they thought. Late that afternoon, a sudden shift in pressure signaled someone was approaching. The alarm lights blinked yellow. Someone was outside the dome once again. This time, the voice was perfect. "My darlings," the voice said. Gently, "I forgot my toolkit at the gate. I've been trying to get the trader to help, but his ship broke down. Please let me in." Spark bit her lip. "It really sounds like her this time," Glimmer nodded. "And she's saying things Mama would say." "Run the test," Orbit ordered, and Blinky activated its series of scans. The retina scan came back. "Matching," the voice analysis, 99.9% match. Even the motion signature tracker showed the correct bouncing walk. The goats hesitated. Something felt right, and yet something didn't. Then Zico squinted at the monitor. Wait, the heartbeat scan, it's there, but too steady. It's single quotes S machine perfect. Nova stepped closer. Mama's heartbeat always skips a little when she's excited. Like when she's talking to us. Double quote Bolt gasped. It's the cyber. Volf, he's using a robot suit. Outside, the cyber Volf heard a click from the airlock, but no opening. His red eyes narrowed. Why haven't they opened it? Inside, Zico made a decision. Let's confuse him. He activated the airlock speaker and said, Okay, Mama, but first, what's the name of the comet we saw on my birthday? The cyber Volf froze. There had been no recording of that. He took a guess. Starfire? Wrong. All the goats shouted. Suddenly, the defense drones popped out of the dome's surface. Miniature plasma blasters locked onto the figure at the gate. The Cybervolf's disguise began to spark. He growled and dropped the act. The mask sizzled and peeled back, revealing his true form: steel jaws, red eyes, and claws that could shred metal. Stubborn little goats! He howled, unleashing a sonic scream that shook the dome's outer layer. Sparks flew from the security panels. Inside, lights flickered. Orbit took charge. Power to backup shields. Zico jumped on the console, diverting energy to sound dampeners. The youngest goats clung together as the room shook, but the systems held firm. Blinky flickered, then stabilized. Sonic threat neutralized. Defense protocol re-engaged. Outside, the Cybervolf's scream lost its edge. He snarled in frustration and leapt away into the shadows. Inside, the goats let out a collective breath. He's getting smarter, Luna whispered, and braver, Nova added. He almost fooled everything. But not us, Orbit said, placing a hand on Zico's shoulder. As long as we work together, he won't get in. That night, the biodome stood strong beneath the stars, but the wolves that roamed the galaxy weren't finished hunting. The Cybervolf had one last trick, and it was already in motion. The artificial sun dimmed gently above Nebula 9, signaling the start of the dome's night cycle. Soft blue lights illuminated the biodome's interior as the 7 little goats gathered around the holographic fireplace. Their day had been intense, and while the danger had passed for now, an uneasy silence settled over them. ZKO sat closest to the control panel, fidgeting with a portable scanner he'd been modifying. I don't like this, he whispered. He's getting better every time. The tech he used today was almost perfect. Nova nodded, wrapping a silver heat blanket around Glimmer and Spark. If the fake heartbeat had a skip, we might have let him in. That was too close. We need to call Mama, Luna said. What if something's happened to her? We tried the communicator 3 times, Orbit reminded her gently. She's probably just outside the signal range. Remember, she said the space markets sometimes go down near the plasma storms. But what if he got to her? Bolt asked in a trembling voice. A cold hush fell over the room. No one wanted to say it, but the fear had been growing in each of their minds. The Cybervolf was cunning, and his desire to break into the dome seemed personal now. If he had intercepted Mama Goat on her way back... No, Zico said firmly. We have to believe she's okay, and if she's not, we'll find her, somehow. The goats agreed to rest in shifts. Orbit stayed up first, watching the monitors, with sharp, tired eyes. As the biodome grew quiet and the hum of its systems softened to a rhythmic buzz, something stirred in the outer corridor, barely audible. A faint scraping sound. The main display suddenly lit up. Alert. Unauthorized movement. Detected near the dome's east vent, Orbit sprang into action. He's not at the airlock. He's trying something else. Zico bolted up, checking the schematics. There's a service tunnel in the hydroponics chamber. If he sneaks in through that, he can bypass most of our scanners. Split up, Orbit instructed. Nova, Spark, with me to hydroponics. Zico and Luna reroute power to those scanners. Bolt, stay here and keep the others safe. They rushed into action. Meanwhile, in the hydroponics chamber, the quiet greenery of alien plants swayed softly in their glowing planters. Then a shimmer. A flicker in the air. The cybervolf, now cloaked in adaptive camouflage, crept silently forward. His footsteps made no sound, and his body blended into the environment like a chameleon. Nova held up her hand and pointed. "There," she whispered. Orbit activated a sensor grenade. It exploded with harmless light, revealing the cybervolf's form. The goat team sprang forward, launching micro-drones that circled him and blasted him with strobe lights designed to overload his visual sensors. Snarling, the cybervolf slashed through a planter and vanished through the emergency vent. Zico's voice crackled through the coms. "He's heading for the old storage bay. Bolt, keep everyone away from there." But Bolt didn't answer. Back at the control room, the youngest goats were huddled together, but Bolt was missing. The door to the hallway stood slightly open. Zico and Orbit raced through the corridor, lights flashing red in emergency mode. Their hooves clattered against the metallic floor as they called out, "Bolt, Bolt, where are you?" A faint voice replied from the shadows. "Over here." They turned the corner and found Bolt trapped inside a security chamber, the walls slowly closing in. "He tricked me," Bolt said, ashamed. "He made a fake emergency alert. I thought I was helping." Orbit slammed the override button and the chamber doors hissed open just in time. Zico pulled Bolt out and the three collapsed into a heap. "We can't let this happen again," Zico said between gasps. "We need to find Mama before he comes back stronger." The goats stood together in the dim light, more determined than ever. Somewhere out there, Mama Goat needed them, and the cybervolf, he had crossed the line. Now it was time to fight back. The next morning began with a quiet resolve. The biodome was still standing strong, but the fear of the night before clung to the walls like static. The goats no longer felt safe behind energy shields and AI barriers. The cybervolf had proven that he would stop at nothing to get inside. And worse, Mama Goat still hadn't returned. Zico gathered the others in the central control room. His fur was slightly ruffled and his eyes were red from lack of sleep. "We've waited long enough," he said. "I've traced the last known coordinates from Mama's communicator. She made it to the space market, but never checked out." Orbit folded his arms. "Then something happened to her between the market and here. That's a 6-kilometer stretch. If we ride fast and stay hidden, we can make it there before dark." "But what about the dome?" asked Luna, concerned. "If we leave, the Volf could come back and take everything." "We'll lock the dome from the inside," Nova suggested, "and reprogram the AI to deny access to anything without a full DNA match." Spark and Glimmer nodded together. "Let's do it. Mama needs us more than the farm does right now." Within minutes, the goats were suited up in their silver exosuits, jet scooters powered and linked in a secure convoy. Zico uploaded a tracking map into their visors, while Orbit armed each goat with an emergency beacon and a plasma flare stick dot. As the dome's outer gate hissed open, the goats emerged into the glowing purple skies of Nebula 9. The air shimmered with static energy and strange winged creatures floated in the distance. The journey was dangerous, the land unpredictable, but the goats were brave, and this time they were fighting for family. About halfway across the plains, Luna spotted something. "There!" she called, pointing at a downed hovercart. The crates were spilled across the ground and plasma berries lay crushed in the dust. Orbit and Bolt leapt off their scooters and scanned the wreckage. "It's hers," Orbit confirmed. "These are Mama's supplies," Zico's scanner beeped. "Trace amounts of energy signature and Volf claw residue." He ambushed her. Following the trail, they rode further into the shadowed cliffs of the craterlands where the sky dimmed and the air turned cooler. Finally, they reached a blackened cave, hidden behind a curtain of holographic camouflage. The signal was strongest here. Inside, in the depths of the rocky lair, the faint echo of a voice called out, "Children? Is that you, Mama Goat?" Without waiting, the goats rushed in. Zico disabled the laser tripwires while Luna jammed the surveillance bots. Inside, they found her tired, her left arm wrapped in a bandage, but alive. She had been locked in a containment pod, her communication device smashed. "He tricked me," Mama said softly, hugging each one. He disguised himself as a traitor, then ambushed me when I was alone. We're here now, Orbit said, helping her out. Let's get you home. But just as they turned to leave, the floor trembled. From the shadows rose the Cyber Volf, his armor now upgraded and burning with stolen plasma energy. His eyes glowed brighter than before. You came to me, he hissed. Now, none of you will leave. The goats stood their ground. We're not scared of you, said Zico. We're a family and families protect each other. With a cry, Orbit launched a flare into the air, distracting the Volf long enough for Glimmer and Spark to trigger the ceiling charge. Rocks crashed down, momentarily blocking the Volf's path. As they carried Mama out of the collapsing cave, Bolt activated the escape beacon. Within minutes, a rescue shuttle sent by Blinky from the biodome arrived to fly them home. Back at the farm, Mama Goat rested safely, and the dome's shields were stronger than ever. The goats had proven their courage. They had faced a force beyond their world, and won not with weapons but with unity, wit, and love. And somewhere deep in the stars, the Cybervolf plotted again, but this time, he knew these little goats were not to be underestimated.